this update started. It has been probably about a month since I've uploaded a video, and that was before Easter, and it's now, which is the start of April, and it's now May. So let me explain what has gone on in the last month that has probably been one of the most stressful months I've ever had to deal with. Apart from moving and getting used to, like, moving down to Melbourne and getting used to Melbourne. Oh my god, my little notes. It was ridiculous. So obviously it started out with, by April we knew that my roommate and I were going to move into this apartment on the 9th of April, which is the day after I came back for my break, my Easter break, which I spent a week in Canberra with boyfriend, with friends, with family, the whole shebang. Now, because that was the closest break to my 18th, I had my 18th then, like, with friends and family. And then we'll get to that later, but that's sort of the start of the timeline. But before I left for that, I had to have my entire room pretty much in boxes. And it became a struggle because I needed stuff that I had to also pack away after I'd used it, and it was just a nightmare. When I did get back, it was like 11 o'clock on Wednesday, so the Wednesday after Easter. And I got home, made sure everything was pretty much packed, and went to bed. What I should have done is dismantled my bed and set up, I don't know, made sure everything was in boxes, because when it came to moving, there was a lot of stuff that, like, smaller stuff that still wasn't in boxes because I lost the original box or lost their wrapping, stuff like that. And yeah, so it took a while to clear out my room. So on the 9th, I woke up, which I have a vlog of, which I will put somewhere. I think I'll just make another one later of all the little clips I have put together. And it was interesting because I woke up and made sure I had everything, had breakfast, went to uni. I only have one class on Thursdays, which I have to go to, otherwise I would have probably just skipped it. So I went to that, met my roommate at the closest Hungry Jack's because I was hungry. We went to sign the lease, at which point we discovered that apparently they don't want pets in this building or something, like they don't allow it or something like that. And she's like, let's just pretend you didn't tell me you had a cat. And I'm like, I didn't actually say this, but I'm like, I put it on every application form that I had a cat. And the 3 places that replied to us, nobody mentioned that, like, having a cat was a bad thing. So my roommate was just like, whatever. So this was the place that my roommate personally preferred. So when we moved in, I got to choose the bigger room. So you can tell it's a bigger room because there's literally twice the cupboard space of hers. So she's only got like this, and the room is slightly smaller, which is hilarious because she has an enormous amount of clothing. So much so that the bar started like this and is now like this because of the amount of clothing she's got hung up, and she still needs more space for clothing. And I'm like, yeah, you can put some in my cupboard. She's like, no, it's fine. I'm like, okay. But yeah, and so after we'd signed the lease, I had to go back to uni for a meeting which lasted like 20 minutes, and then we drove to here, unloaded all of her stuff, went through the house with the form they gave us to double check that everything they know about was correct. We did have a leaky, well, we still do have a leaky tap, and the shower doors that like slide. The middle one doesn't slide properly, so We have to like, we extended it out and then we just used the first door. Thankfully we're both relatively skinny enough to get in and out. I think probably the worst thing about that day was the fact we discovered we didn't have any power. So once we unloaded everything, because it was daytime, we could just unload everything. We had to go back to hers to pick up the big van with all her big stuff. And we sat there for like half an hour to charge phones and such. But also to call the power company and go, where the hell is our power? What happened was that the company was like, oh crap, apparently our system changed your address. So you should have been connected if the system had the right address. So instead of being connected to 5 of 31, they connected it to 5 of 1. So we amended that and they said it should be done by the next day, so by the Friday. We were like, okay, fair enough. And then what happened? And then it was just, so I think we had takeaway that night, and it was interesting because we were eating on the lounge room floor by a lantern light, which is these. We still have them just in case. Which takes 2 D-size batteries and LEDs. Oh, they use LEDs. And pretty much, we moved in the entire apartment via 2 of those lanterns. By 10 o'clock, we enlisted one of my roommate's male friends to help us move her fridge. By the time we got out to get her fridge, got it in the van, then went all the way out to where I was originally living to get all my big furniture, like my bed, my desk, my drawers. We got back here and it was about midnight. We unloaded everything and then we unloaded the fridge last, which was the heaviest thing. And meant we were taking a fridge up a flight of stairs at like 20 past 12 in the morning, which was hilarious. I probably never would have been able to do it, so I'm really glad that my roommate got her friend, and that they were able to do it like a couple steps at a time so that they didn't wake anybody up. I talked to the neighbours a couple days later and I was like, did you guys like get annoyed by us moving in? And they were like, no, we heard you guys were doing stuff pretty late, but we were up. And I'm like, yeah, well, we were just wondering because we were moving a fridge at like 20 past midnight. And they were like, what? What? Right? It didn't sound like that. And I'm like, yeah, well, she did drop it at one point. But yeah, so then I went to bed after the fridge was in, because I had my full day of uni the next day, so the Friday. My roommate went to drop her male friend home. I think she ended up staying there, but she did come back because I think she also had to go back to her apartment for a few things. She swung by here to drop off like my breakfast food, which was Wheat Bix and skim milk, and then ended up just staying at his place where there was power so that she could charge her phone and stuff like that. Come Friday, I was charging just about everything at uni. I had to go and buy my lunch and my dinner, because we didn't have any power. And then when we got home, we should have had power, and we didn't. And so we called up Origin, which is our power company, and we're like, okay, we were told we were going to have power. And the lady on the phone's like, yeah, I can see it's not connected yet. And my roommate just is about to go off her nut. And eventually it's like 7 or 8 o'clock at night, and the phone call like sort of wrapping up, so they've realised that it's not happening. And then we were assured about 4 times it would be done by midnight. We stayed up till midnight, and it didn't happen. And we kept saying, what do we do if it's not done by midnight? And all she kept saying was, it will be done by midnight. at midnight we couldn't call anyone, all the call centres are closed. And so we were without power for a second day. And then we had no idea if we were going to be without power for the whole weekend because it's a weekend. So we just started, like, on the Saturday we went out to breakfast, and my roommate started calling up other companies. She didn't go much further than one, I think, when she found out that all the power companies have to go through a higher up company, and suggested that we call them. We called them. I think the guy's name was Joe or something. Like, she specifically wrote that down so if it didn't happen she could refer back to someone. And they were like, she explained the whole situation and she's like, what the hell is going on? And he's like, if it's not done by 5, call us again. So we waited till 5. What we sort of did was we started unpacking and stuff like that. We're like, okay, so now another company's getting onto it as well. We did some unpacking, we had some lunch, and then we were sitting down to have a break. My roommate had recently gotten the S6, because that was the day before was the Friday was when it came out. And so she charged it at her old place, and then went to set it up on the Saturday, and it didn't turn on. Now she's charged it to like 91%, put it back in the box, and then when she went to turn it on, didn't turn on. So when we went into Optus in the city, they were like, okay, this is weird. Went to charge it, and it charged like 2% and turned on. And we're like, well, we charged it to 91, where did all that power go? And so they then sent us to the Samsung store, who were like, what the hell? And we were there, like, it was meant to only be go in, get a diagnostic done, get a piece of paper, be out in 5 minutes. We were there for about half an hour, and both of us were just getting really, really frustrated. Like, it wasn't even my phone and I was getting annoyed. And so they looked at it, and because the battery of the S6 is now built in like an iPhone, they couldn't just take off the back and look at the battery and do a test. You have to go through the screen, so like you have to take the whole screen off to be able to get to the battery now. Because it had only been released 24 hours ago, they didn't have the parts to be able to go through the screen and then seal everything back up again. Now, they could have taken it in, because of the type of phone it is now, it takes about an hour to run a diagnostic test, and they could have, like, logged it in, done the test, but then they had no idea when the parts were getting there, so they had no idea when they could return the phone. So they were like, we don't want to do that. And I totally understood why she was up, like, getting annoyed at the fact that, like, yes, it doesn't look like anything's wrong with the phone, but where did the whole 91% go? Even if, like, and he was like, was your SIM card in it? And she's like, no. And he's like, well, yeah, like, even if it had bumped and turned on, without a SIM card in it, it would have just been idling for those 12 hours or whatever, and still should have had at least, like, 50% charge. So because they couldn't run the diagnostic test, they wrote us what we called the magical piece of paper, which pretty much stated that they didn't have the parts to run it, but you should give this person a new phone because something may have effed up. So we then took that back to Optus with like half an hour till it closed. Eventually we got a new phone for my roommate, and then went home. Actually no, we went shopping for, not clothing, for essentials. So we got a bin, a mop, a broom, a couple other things from like the reject shop. And then when we got home, we saw a white car pulling out of one of the driveways for our place, and we were like, what the hell is this? We let him pull out, and then we saw he was in like high-vis stuff, and we were like, hang on, is that the electrician? So I like leapt out of the car, being in the passenger side, and went and checked the smart meter thing, and we had power. So pretty much after running back to the car and being like, woo, we got power, we dumped everything inside, picked up our wallets, and went food shopping. That was like a really rushed and not really thought about food shop, because the food lasted like 4 days instead of a week. So about 4 days in, we were running on nothing, and I was getting kind of hungry. But then we went on a proper food shop, which was about the same price, but had lasted about a week and a half. So yeah, we finally had power. And now we just have a problem with the internet, where we haven't had internet since we got here. Because my roommate had a deal with Telstra. Then we had to put into Telstra to get it switched to this address, and then they screwed that up. So she eventually managed to get out of the contract, because what they needed us to do, we couldn't do, because it was like, plug in a landline phone and call this number to prove that yes, you are the new tenants of this place, because the tenants before us hadn't disconnected their internet. And then we were like, okay, sure, plugged in a landline and there's no dial tone, so we're like, what the hell do we do? Thankfully my uncle works for Telstra, and we were like, okay, let's talk to him for a bit, and he's like, try this, and nothing worked. Nothing. So we called them back the next day, and they were like, okay, we have to send someone out, but the next available person isn't for another week. And my roommate was just not happy. She's had a string of problems with Telstra, and so pretty much, I think a couple days later, she's like, so I have some bad news and some good news, and I'm like, okay, sure, what's the good news? And she's like, well, cancelled with Telstra, so nobody was coming out to fix it. Managed to get out of the breaking contract fees, and I've signed up with TPG, which is the one that we were planning to get eventually, because it's unlimited and I trust it. And she's like, sweet, unlimited, and it's cheaper than what she was originally getting for 50 gigs a month. So we're getting that. It should be connected this week. I really hope it is. I'm kind of dying with the fact that there's no internet here, because I'd really like to be able to have those a couple extra days to do my uni stuff, because currently every assignment I've had happened to fall over, like every assignment due has happened to fall in the time that I've had no internet, so I've had to stay later at uni, go in the earliest uni, and submit everything like 2 or 3 days early, because everything generally is due Sunday midnight, or like a minute before midnight. But I've had to submit it on the Friday because I don't have internet here on a Sunday to submit. I'm like, great! But yeah, so that's been hard. Uni is probably the most thing I'm annoyed by, and I can't search for jobs. Eventually my roommate got one of those like little dongle things that had like 5 gigs on it, and we use that for uni and for applying for jobs. Because she's trying to find a job because her workplace is a bunch of dicks. And I'm just trying to find a job in general, because I need to start helping pay for this place without digging into money I've set aside for certain things. Okay, that's the move. We're a lot more settled in now that we have everything here and stuff like that. And we've had like 2 weeks now, 2 to 3 weeks. I think we're going on our 4th week now. But I guess I should probably update, because at the start of the move was actually the start of baseball season. Now I'm playing with the Footscray Bulldogs, which is good fun. So pretty much I play with the older guys that are skilled, but they're not skilled enough to keep up with all the younger people. And because I've never played before, they're like, okay, we'll stick you there. And it's actually really fun. Now, I missed the first match because we were moving, and I'm like, I'm just going to be buggered. And not only was I buggered, I was sick because of the constant temperature changing in my body from moving at late periods of night. And then come the next week, I was like, okay, I had training, that was fine. Come the game, the games go for 2 hours, I played for 20 minutes. Because when it came to my turn to bat, pitched 1 ball, I didn't swing at it. Pitched the 2nd ball, I did swing at it, but it hit my thumb like right here, somewhere in this general region, we don't entirely know where. Holy crap, that hurt so much. I was so determined to be able to hit a ball, I stayed up on the thing, like I shook my hand a few times, blinked back the tears, and set up again to hit the ball. I did hit the ball past second base, didn't realise, so I kind of ran a little bit late, and they pretty much got the ball to first base before I got there. Stepped off first base, because you just meant to keep running anyways to just get used to it, and burst into tears. And like the coach, who's also one of the teammates, is like, "You okay?" And I'm like, no, I am not. My finger is in large quantities of pain. So they had to get me ice, and they didn't have any of the malleable ice, or just like ice blocks in a bag. So I got a block of ice, which didn't do much because the tea towel was too thick. So I had to like slightly rest it on the actual corner of the block, which didn't do much. And pretty much within the next 20 minutes to half an hour, my knuckle had swelled up to about twice its size. My finger was quite, like my whole thumb was quite swollen. I was in a hell of a lot of pain. I actually managed to go back out onto the field and do some fielding, which was probably, now that I think about it, a very bad idea, because the first time I fielded, nothing was thrown to me, or nothing was hit towards me. And then when I had my injury, I had 3 things hit towards me. And I was like, great, thanks. By the time it came to my turn again for batting, they were tossing up whether or not to take me to a nearby medical centre. When it came to my turn to bat, they were like, what's happening? Why isn't someone coming out to bat? And they were trying to get pretty much the coach's attention because he was on second base. And so everybody came in for about 5 minutes while they discussed it. So I went to a medical centre, they skipped me my batting spot, and when it came to fielding, they borrowed someone from the other team. Ironically, that person actually caught one of their teammates out. And he's like, well, I can't do anything. So go to the doctor, and he's like, you have most likely fractured something. And I'm like, great. Because I was in so much pain, I had to have 2 Nurofen and 2 Panadol within the space of 4 hours. It was ridiculous. And then, so he put a splint on it, which was this great looking popsicle stick, like the one I normally use for your tongue. So come Monday, go get x-rays. Strapped that up and was like, go get x-rays on Monday. Woo! I just had to walk into the nearest x-ray place, and then, yeah, got x-rays. It was first time I took my splint off, and it was an interesting colour. So this is the plum I did. Pretty much baseball hit, there you go, I'll zoom in. Baseball hit roughly this area. Wasn't much bruising, like there's now like, well obviously because my nail's painted, there's like a tiny little bruise in here. And then there was like a red line just under, I don't know if it's still there, it's probably not, just under here. This was incredibly swollen the day it happened. It didn't look like I had any ridges, like that was just straight from the swelling. It was a nice green colour, except for like eventually the 2 areas where I taped it, the splint. But yeah, so I took it off, and pretty much the only part of the bruise you could see was like the side here. But when I took it off, all across here, and sort of going, I think it went down that sort of area, was a really dark blue colour. It was kind of scary. And I didn't want to poke it, I didn't poke it. It hurt like a bitch. All I could do was like this, was like tiny little movements. And yeah, so I had to get that, I got that x-rayed. I still have the pictures, they're not with me now. But yeah, my thumb looks normal. I really like looking at x-ray pictures because they look awesome. But yeah, and then went home. It was probably hardest week ever because I didn't realise how much you needed thumbs. I couldn't do anything properly. I could only just hold a pen, and it was like in here, and it was like awkward. Texting was annoying because I used this thumb and this finger, so it was like really strange. But I'm glad I can bend it now, but I can't bend it as much as this thumb because instead of breaking finger, I broke lots of little muscle strands, and obviously broke a lot because there's, pretty much I talked to my dad about this, there is so much scar tissue in here trying to repair everything that it's still really stiff because that's what scar tissue is. It's not as flexible as normal muscle. So where this thumb can bend this far, this thumb can bend that far. Like that's me pushing both of them. There's an obvious difference. But yeah, so that's fun. I won't have full range of movement for like, I think it's like 6 months or 6 weeks, I can't remember. I know it had a 6 in it. Okay, so that's my injury, which is now better. I did play baseball on the weekend, and I was actually okay. I thought I was going to be in a lot of pain, but I was alright. Batting is even worse now because my body flinches away from the ball because it doesn't want it to get hurt again. But yeah. That was, yeah, great baseball experience. So, what happened next? Oh yeah, I turned 18. I am now a legal adult who can drink legally and do whatever the hell I want as long as it's within the law. It was obviously different to a lot of people's 18th. I've just moved, I barely know anybody, and I didn't have any of my friends here, so I didn't have a big 18th party that night. I didn't go out clubbing with a whole bunch of people. I had uni. That was my morning. I woke up, saw a large quantity, probably like 30 or 40 balloons in my lounge room, along with like a happy birthday thingo. Went to uni, so I had a class and a lecture. Went home, had a cruiser, 'cause I could. And then later that night, my roommate took me out to dinner and dessert and the club. So we went to like, I think it was an Italian restaurant. I was very, I don't know, adventurous. I had Caesar salad. She had cannelloni, and we both had a peach kisses cocktail. Never again. It was nice, till the aftertaste of way too much peach schnapps. Like, ugh. Like it was nice, and then I left that tongue on your paste on your tongue. Like, I kept drinking it because I'm like, I bought it, so I didn't buy it. She bought it. And I'm like, oh, it's alcohol. I'll drink it. But yeah, so that was that. And then we walked. We didn't have dessert there. We walked to one of the nearby, like, I don't know, sweet shops, but it's baked sweets and cooked sweets that we'd walked past like 40 times and really wanted to try. So, being my birthday, we went and got cake. Except cake turned into, she had a chocolate mousse and I had a giant blue meringue. It was about like this big. It was kind of ridiculous. I only ate half of it, and it was hilarious because she told me to close my eyes and then she stuck a candle in it and lit the candle. Yeah, and then we walked further down the street to just like a chill out bar. She got a beer, I ordered a cruiser. She didn't tell me they didn't have any cruisers, so on the spot she just ordered me a cocktail called Sex on the Beach, which also had peach schnapps in it, but had a nice amount of peach schnapps. So I actually drank the whole thing, and it was great. And I got really tired at like 9:30, and I'm like, well, this is pathetic, but I want to go home. And I did, and woke up fine, went to, so that was Wednesday. Went to uni the next day, which was one class, went out and did some stuff for my birthday, and then went to baseball training, which was fine. Then I took a couple cruises from the fridge, because I didn't have any money, so I was like, well, Cheyenne wanted to have a drink with me, so I had a drink. I had 3 cruises, and then I was bought a cruiser, I ended up getting my roommate to pick me up. Well, at first it was because I didn't want to catch the train. And then I'm really, really glad she picked me up. Because I was drunk at training. I'm like, how? I've had 4 cruises. Like, yeah, there was the stuff yesterday, but how? And I mean, apparently, according to the guy that was sitting next to me and subtly looking after me, I was laughing at everything. I kept shaking my head to wake myself up because I really didn't want to pass out in front of 15 people who'd never let me live it down. He thought that was hilarious, but I do that when I'm sober, so I was like, yeah, it's normal. Then when she picked me up, she used to do pole dancing, and so she had her own pole, but she hadn't been bothered to get out of the car, so like for the last 2 weeks I've been getting in and out of the car by like embracing my inner gymnast and like duck and weaving into the car. And somehow on the night where I feel quite drunk and buzzed in the head, I did it flawlessly and with the least effort she's ever seen me do it. And you'd think being like with that much alcohol in me that, yeah, it'd be a lot harder. But it was fine. And then halfway home she's like, I want a McFlurry. I'm like, okay, sure, I'll pay for it, because I had $10 in my wallet. So I got McFlurries. I had half of that, stumbled into the apartment pretty much, up some stairs into the apartment. Sat down trying to eat my ice cream, then I don't feel too good. Sort of crawled into my room, took my shoes off, and then sort of sat down in my door and went, this is not good, and crawled over across the hallway to the bathroom, and my room was like, you can't be that sick, and instantly threw up into the toilet bowl. It was hilarious. I mean, I didn't think it was funny at the time, but now I do. Like, she said that, and I threw up. She brought me some water, and then once I'd finished throwing up, like, she was waving some bread at me, and I'm like, I'm good, I'm good. I'm throwing everything up now, I feel a lot better. And went to bed. Actually, no, I had a shower and went to bed. And man, I felt so much better after the shower. Come Friday morning, didn't have a hangover, I felt fine. Went to all of my uni stuff, I was tired and kind of felt sick, but not really. And then, yeah. Didn't do anything on Friday night. I don't think so. Can't remember. Then Saturday was baseball, and we come to today. Yeah. I guess that's kind of everything. Just trying to like remember what I've done. I did forget to tell you that when I was in Canberra for Easter, I did a bit of modelling for CMA for one of the students, and I really enjoyed it. I actually quite miss it. I think it was like a tyrant saint thing, so I had like really basic makeup, really straight eyeliner, and I'm like, I really wish I could do that, but I can't. And then like dark blue vibrant lips, and it was amazing. Like, I loved it. And that was really fun. I really wish I could do that again. Honestly, I really wish it was Easter again, because I really miss everybody. And I miss my cat. My cat is adorable. I will put a photo like here of my cat, because she's adorable. She's a little mischief maker. She keeps waking my boyfriend up at like 6 in the morning. And part of me just wishes she was here. Because like on Mondays, which is today, I am home alone. Because roommate does full-time work. Mondays is my day off, so I do studying. Hopefully when I get a job, it'll be full of job hours. I'll be earning money and not be able to just wander around, but right now I just wish I had someone to be with me. But I guess that's my update. Moving, turning 18, playing baseball. Yeah. This is my adult life. I really don't enjoy it sometimes. And it's really stressful. And sometimes I wonder if I've even done the right thing, but I'm enjoying uni. Despite some of the classes being really hard, I feel like I'm learning a lot. So, I finished cleaning for the day, I finished drying off all my clothes because we now have a washing machine. Because I'm never going back to a laundromat and spending $30 on washing ever again. But yeah, so now I'm going to go finish putting away my clothing and finish studying. Because I just needed a break, so I was like, you know what, let's make like a half-an-hour update vlog because it's been a month. Hopefully the internet is connected soon so these will become more regular.